everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and today I finally got my hands on this palette. I just watched everybody get their palette before me because my Sephora did not have this palette and I had to order it from Sephora. And y'all, I was pressed to get this palette. Like, I called all of my Sephoras, like, why don't y'all have the palette? When are you getting the palette? They're like, oh, we don't have it. I'm like, so anyways, I ordered it. I finally have it. And so today we are playing with this palette. I'm going to do 3 different looks using it, and I'm excited. So this palette retails for $129, and it says that it is limited edition. But from my experience with Natasha Denona palettes, limited edition just may mean limited life. Here is the packaging. Come on, packaging. I love this. This is my favorite packaging that she's done because y'all know I love purple and I love the shift, because on camera I think it looks more blue, but in real life, you know, once it catches a certain wave of the light, it looks a little purple. So these have a little bit less eyeshadow in each pan than some of her other full-size eyeshadow palettes have had in the past. So in each pan is roughly 2.36 grams of product, whereas some of her other full-size eyeshadow palettes in the past have had 2.5 grams of eyeshadow. But I am willing to bet that is because of the formulation of the eyeshadows in the middle. That's kind of throwing it off a little bit, because those type eyeshadows almost always have just a little bit less products than other eyeshadows do. So I'm not tripping off of it, because I've been collecting Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes for, I don't know, 6 years now, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in there. Whenever she first came out, that was when I started collecting her stuff. I got it the day she launched her first eyeshadow palette in America. And I've never gone through one. I've never even hit pan on any of my eyeshadows. So there's that. But I just wanted to let you all know that, for those of you all who like to know numbers and weight and, you know, all that good stuff. So this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. 15 different shades in here. And what is so different about this eyeshadow palette are these 3 shades right here. So these are the multi-chrome eyeshadows, and these are formulated to give us a little bit more extra some. If you all are familiar, she came out with the Chromium liquid eyeshadows, and she actually came out with one of the shades from the multi-chrome liquid eyeshadows as a pressed eyeshadow. So I'm very excited to show you all these eyeshadows in action. And of course, I will be doing 3 different looks, and I kind of tried to do 3 different looks using each row. So let's go ahead and get into that. I'll show you all the 3 looks, and then I'll talk about my final thoughts about this palette. And then at the very end of the video, I will show you all swatches, and that way you all can see what this palette looks like, and I'll do a little bit of comparisons too. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section. So enjoy. So I'm first going to go in with the blending brush in the shade Diatonic. I'm going to take this above my crease. Excuse me, earring. And this is going to be my transition shade. Oh, this is looking pretty already. And then I'm going to go in with Garmin. Same brush, move on down. Let's apply that in the crease. So back and forth. I'm going to take a bit of the same shade and pop that right on the outer corner as well. I'm going to take a little bit of Vertex with a flat shader brush, and I'm going to pop that right on the inner portion, like so. Then I'm going to take Color Flip, okay? I'm so here for the flipping of colors. Ooh, I'm going to pop that right on the lid. Nice. See that flip there? Okay. Let me add some liner and lashes, and I'll be back. We can do the lower lash line. Y'all see this liner though? I used Dragonfly, the liquid. I'm going to take Plutonium with the pencil brush, and I'm going to take this on the lower lash line. And I'm going to, you know, take my time and just build it up. Now let me add just a little bit of eyeliner and some mascara, and I'll be done with this eye look. That's the first eye look. I think it's real pretty. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the second eye look. I'm going to take Ion first. And I am going to take this as my transition shade. So back and forth. Next, I'm going to take the same brush in the shade Vert, but I don't know. Is it pronounced Vert or is it pronounced Vert? Let a girl know. All right, so I'm going to take this and add it right in the crease to further electrify my crease area. Then I'm just going to go in and kind of pack that on because I want this to shine through. I'm going to go in with Scrap. And I'm going to take this right on the outer corner. Now, I'm going to take Scarab, pick that up with a flat shader. Gently place this on the lid area. Blend it over and blend it over the other way. Oh, I just love, love, love me some Scarab. So pretty. Love it. Now, I'm going to take one of the Chromiums and add that as my eyeliner on the top. Just to give you all an idea of the difference of intensity. Okay, I'm going in with Scarab. It's very beautiful. Look at how intense that liquid is in comparison to the powder. I mean, the powder is beautiful, but that liquid has the shift that I'm looking for, you know? And so let me go ahead and add on a little bit of lash, and we'll do the lower lash together. Okay, lashes on. Let's do the lower lash line. I'm going to go in with Scrap. And I'm going to take this all the way across the lower lash line. Look 2. Ha! That's it. Beautiful. Look 1 and look 2. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's get into this third eye look. So I'm going to first go in with Nava. And this is going to be our transition shade. So just back and forth. Let's go into Tungsten. Come on down and put that right on in the crease area. I'm going to go into Manganese. Add a little bit of that. Ooh, okay, okay, okay. Add some of that right in this crease area with the smaller, more tapered blending brush. And then come around and add that on the outer corner and inch it towards the inner portion of the lid. Okay, purple. Next, let's get into Kinetic. And let's pop that right on the lid. Okay, so it's going on nicely dry. Okay, it's giving us a nice little shimmer. I want to take it to the next level. So I'm going to go in with some of my mixing medium. For this, I'm going to take my Mayron. And I just dipped my brush in the Mayron. And I'm just going to pick up some of the shade Kinetic with the brush being damp. And let's intensify her. Yes, 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 yes. Intensifying her with a little bit of mixing medium brings out a little bit more of the shift. I can see it shifting more from that pink to purple shade. More so than if it were dry. It made it a little bit more foiled, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to spend some time, pack that on, make sure that it is blended out to my liking. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ultraviolet and use that as my liner and then add my lashes, and I'll be right back and we can do the lower lash line together. I'm going to take this, and I think it's pronounced Redo. Redo. Redox. Not sure. Okay, I'm going to take that on the lower. Ooh, that's kind of light. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm actually going to take Color Flip. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. And with Color Flip, I'm going to take that across the middle, on the inner and the middle. Okay, so y'all, I'm making up my mind as I go. And to finish us off, let's go back into the darkest purple. Let's do a little liner, a little mascara, and we'll be done. And here we have it, the finished look. So, I've done 3 looks using this palette. Now let's talk about my final thoughts about the Natasha Denona Triochrome, Triceratops. I don't know. I'm not sure. The palette. 3 looks. Which look was your favorite? Let me know down in the comment section. I think my favorite look was the first look that I did, even though y'all know I love purple. So I want to know if you all think you know what I'm about to say. Like, if you feel like you know what you think that I'm about to say right now, then pause this video, go down to the comment section and tell me what you think I'm about to say about this palette. Because I'm just curious about what you all think I think. Like, what do you think I think? So let's talk about my final thoughts, and let's see if you all were right. Those of you all who went down to the comment section to see if you knew what you thought you knew, okay? So I think it's a very beautiful palette. I love the curation of shades that Natasha Denona selected. I think that it's something just a little bit different. It's not necessarily something that you expect to see in the fall winter season because it's kind of light and we have a mixture of pastels and electric tones. So it's just a little bit more poppy than the vampy tones that we're used to seeing around this time of year. So with that being said, I do think that it's fun because it mixes purples and the darker greens and all of that stuff in. And of course we have the Triochrome shades. But this palette is not without flaws, okay? So even though I enjoyed the looks that I created, I do feel like there's room for improvement here. And there's several different things that I would personally change in order to elevate this palette, in my opinion. So the first thing is that I feel like there's a bit of repetitiveness here. And I'll actually turn it around so you all can better see what I'm talking about. So for these two columns, in my opinion, she could have gone with either or shade. So for the top row, she could have gone with either Ion or Vert. Either Redo, Redox, Redo, or Tungsten. Either Garmin or Diatonic. Like one or the other. There was no need to have these two and these two and these two. I feel like she should have switched it out and given us a shade that we could use for the inner corner instead. Because even though these shades are not the same, they are obviously different tones. Like the shades here are a bit deeper than the ones here. I personally would have just gone with this last column because it's a bit deeper and I feel like it's more versatile. And I also wish she would have gone just a little bit deeper with these two shades in particular, and maybe even this tone, just to give us a little bit more depth in the palette. Now, I'm a person who does not believe that one palette has to be the end-all be-all. I don't feel like you absolutely have to do a complete eye look with every single palette. I don't mind reaching outside of a palette to do an entire eye look. The only time that I do an entire eye look from one palette is mainly when I'm doing, YouTube videos. But if I'm just doing makeup in the comfort of my home, I'm just doing it for me, I don't mind reaching outside of it. But if you're a person who does, to me, this palette lacks a little bit of depth, especially when you get to skin tones and complexions that are deeper than mine. I was able to create a little bit of depth with it, but as soon as you go a few shades deeper than me, I definitely think that you'll have to reach outside of this palette just to get a little bit more richness in your eye look. Now, let's talk about the formulation of these eyeshadows because I enjoyed the majority of the eyeshadows that I used in this palette. But as you all know, I'm a purple lover. I love everything purple. It's such a beautiful tone to me. And with the packaging being like this beautiful shade of purple, I was really looking forward to the purples the most from this palette. And I'm going to go ahead and just be completely honest. I don't feel like the purples were executed to the best of their ability. And I definitely think the greens outshine the purples as well as the more neutral tones down at the bottom. And the purple in particular that I had a difficult time using was the deepest one, Manganese. I feel like this purple was very patchy. I had to go over it several times and eventually I think I made it work. But on average, I prefer a purple that's a little bit more rich and it doesn't skip as much because I definitely see, even with me going over this purple as many times as I did, a little bit of patchiness on the lid. And it's something that can be remedied if I had a deeper purple to add some depth and I can kind of cover up this purple. But since this is the darkest one, this is the one that I used on my outer crease. And I just felt like it didn't blend out well. It's definitely a purple that I would not recommend you using in your crease. If you're going to use it, I would say limit its usage to the lid. And that way you can pack it on and you don't have to worry about blending it out, because I feel like when I blended it out, that's when I saw the majority of the patchiness. It's not a horrible purple. It's just not the purple. So I just wanted to make mention of that. And I didn't experience that too much with any of the other shades in this palette. But I will say that the purple shade here, the shade Kinetic, was not as vibrant and it didn't have as much shift as these two shades did. So this one is just like a regular shimmer shade in my opinion. I barely can see where it's turning from the purple to the pink. And this one was the only one that I felt like I needed to go into a mixing medium to amp it up. And with the other two, I feel like they gave me a little bit more bang. And this one, I just had to keep applying and layering up. So I feel like the purple shades just required a little bit more elbow grease than the rest of the shades in the palette. Do they work? Yes. But do you have to do a little bit more work to get them to work? Yes, you do. But I did enjoy the Triochrome, Triceratops. Like, I did enjoy these right here a lot. I felt like they were really pretty. But do I think that they can hold a candle to most indie duochrome, triochrome eyeshadows on the market? No, I don't. And I actually pulled out some of my eyeshadows that I have from Clionadh Cosmetics just to give you guys a little bit of a sample of that. So these are from Clionadh and these are Natasha's. And I mean, without swatching them, these pop out so much more than the duochromes and the triochromes, the trichromes, whatever from Natasha's line. I mean, you can just see them dazzling in the pan, and I'll even do like a little swatch so you guys can see. For example, this one is the shade Ochre from Clionadh Cosmetics, and I will swatch it in comparison to Scarab from Natasha. So this one is Scarab. This one is Ochre from Clionadh, okay? So I don't know if you all can see my fingers, but I mean, the Clionadh one is so much more intense than Natasha's. So I'm swatching Natasha's. Which this one is one of my favorite shades from the entire palette. It's beautiful. It has a nice little shift to it. It's a really nice shimmery shade. But then look at Clionadh's. And baby, you can see that pow wow. Wow, you can definitely see how it's much shinier. It gives a lot more radiance and a lot more shift. And I think it's a truer representation of what a duochrome, triochrome, super reflective eyeshadow is supposed to be. Now, I think that Natasha Denona did a great job, but if you are comparing it to indie brands and how they have been on the market killing it for years, Natasha Denona didn't really hit that mark with that. But if you just look at this as a shimmery eyeshadow, it's very beautiful, and I loved it on my lid. I thought it was beautiful. But if we're calling it what it is, it's not really giving us that same amount of like the indie game is giving. It's not. And I also want to quickly compare this to Natasha Denona's Chromium eyeshadows, which I really enjoy these. These are a lot more intense than her pressed powders are. So if you have the Chromium liquid eyeshadows, I think that you can create even more beautiful, vibrant looks by pairing these two products together, because they're going to be a lot more intense than the pressed eyeshadows are, even if you foil the pressed eyeshadows by spraying your brush or adding a mixing medium and trying to make it a little bit more intense. The liquid eyeshadows are going to outperform and outshine the pressed eyeshadows by a landslide. You're not going to have to do as much work to get them to be a little bit more vibrant. You also, I used the Chromium eyeshadows for all three of my looks as eyeliner, and it just adds that little extra dazzle to it. And if I had to pick which one I preferred more, I would pick the liquid eyeshadows over these pressed ones all day. So at this point, I know you all are like, dang, Kelsey, do you even like the palette? Like, girl, what's up? I like the palette. And let me tell you why I like the palette. It has a nice color story. I feel like it's easy to understand, and I feel like it's user friendly. And the biggest part that I like about it is that it's accessible. So you can get it from Beautylish, you can get this from Sephora, as well as from Natasha Denona's website. And you don't have to wait to enjoy these type colors versus ordering eyeshadows from brands like Clionadh. Now, even though they are worth the wait, you do have to wait. I know they are working to remedy this, but it's not just them. It's indie brands on average, because they are smaller companies, so it makes it harder to keep up with order fulfillment. Therefore, you're going to have a longer wait time versus somebody like Natasha Denona, you can get it tomorrow if you want it. But I'm happy to have this eyeshadow palette. You all know I'm a Natasha Denona lover. I think that she creates really fun, beautiful products that aren't something that you just see over and over and over again. I like that she steps us out of the box, and I like this palette. Is it my #1 formulated Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette? No. Am I going to redo my ranking video very, very soon and let you all know where it falls in line? Yes. So let me know your thoughts on it. Do you all plan on picking up this palette? I look forward to reading what you guys have to say down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to your girl if you want to see more videos from me. Talk to you all soon. Smooches.